You're listening to Closing Market Weekly, the show where real estate closings meet real world insight. With your host, Phillip Hogan, and every week we break down the trends, tools, and the timing that keeps deals moving forward. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Phillip Hogan, host of Closing Market Weekly. Many of you may know me as the CEO of Signing Services of America. Since 2016, I've worked with hundreds of professionals across the mortgage and real estate settlement space, from title agents and escrow officers to lenders, attorneys, and notaries. One thing I've noticed in this industry, we often talk to each other, but not with each other. That's why Closing Market Weekly was created, to offer a space for honest, practical conversations about the real issues, challenges, and trends shaping the closing market. Today's guest is someone I've had the pleasure of working with closely over 6 years, Liz Olivar. We've partnered on countless signings and client projects, and I'm excited to finally bring one of our behind-the-scenes conversations to the podcast. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad that I'm able to be a part of your show and hopefully share a few tips about our industry.
Fantastic. So Liz, let me share your background with our audience so they can be impressed with you as I am. Liz Olivia started her title career at Prosperous Title and Escrow, LLC in 2019 as an office manager. In 2021, she became the president of the company, where she brings her passion for being a part of the process that helps people achieve their dreams. She is a member of the Certified Commercial Investment Member Group. As a title professional, Liz is a proud member of the Greater El Paso Association of Realtors and serves on the Affiliates Committee. Prior to her career at Prosperous Title and Escrow, LLC, Liz had an incredible tenure at GECU and with various roles in branch operations, including management of a total of 31 years with the credit union. Liz's passion for helping others become the best they can be starts with her family and extends to everyone she meets. She really listens to your needs and is there to provide a solution. Liz, that is an impressive bio. 31 years that you have worked in being of service to individuals. How does that feel to have accomplished that type of track record over 31 years, to be able to be of service to individuals?
Through the years, it has become very important for me to follow the philosophy of people helping people. And it is very important for me to make a difference within our community. And Prosperous, as well as GECU Federal Credit Union, have allowed me and have given me that opportunity to be that little piece of making that difference for either home ownership, financial freedom, for debt reduction, for allowing, to get those home equities on their mortgages so that they could put their children through school, and that only betters our community, and to know that I'm a part of that and my team is a part of that and Prosperous is a part of that. It is very rewarding. It is very fulfilling, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful legacy that I feel within those 31 days and 31 years, and hopefully 20 plus more will help me continue to make that difference.
Liz, thank you for that. And many people think that, the title industry consists of all the technicals that we do, the type of technology that we use, the software, the transactions, but really the foundation of the work that we do is embedded in service, is being available to your fellow homeowner, your fellow American, or your fellow person to facilitate the process. And many times, we're talking, we meaning my staff and I over at Signing Service America are talking, how can we be a better service provider to those that we come in contact with? And since we're talking about, the importance of service, would you mind sharing any tips to our audience as to how we can be a better service provider, or what are some of the strategies that you've used that you might want to share with our audience?
Well, at Prosperous, my team and I really, really, really look to being and being there for our customer, putting ourselves in their shoes,
Mm-hmm.
understanding how stressful
Mm-hmm.
purchasing a home is, refinancing their home, taking home equities, because it is a big step.
Mm-hmm.
It is a big, when you're signing at the closing table, it looks like you're signing your life away, and you technically are. Those are the biggest investments you'll probably make. And
Right.
really the importance, and a tip I would give is listen. Communication is very important. It's a two-way street, but sometimes it's best to listen, and don't fabricate answers before you've completely listened to your customer, and really just be there for them, and be there as a holding hand, as a crying shoulder. Sometimes it's that stressful, but once you get to the end together, it is they will forever remember that.
That's wonderful. Liz, I didn't intend to talk about this, but my prior career of before working within the settlement services side was as a social worker. I have a master's degree in social work, and I spent over 15 years working within the social services community. And one of the gifts that I acquired, is my ability to listen to the needs of others, listen to what people were saying, and not in silence the voice in my head, to really be able to tune in to what that person is saying, and thus either come up with a solution or a proper response to what that person is talking about. So I concur with you 100% that listening is so important in this skill, in this business. And many people say, well, Phillip, listen, you came from social services background. What are you doing in the settlement services side? And I said, really many of the skills that we used, or that I used in the social services side, are appropriate and applicable to the settlement services. So thank you for that. And what a great way to start this show, Liz. So since we're talking about things like that, what is one closing mistake or closing issue that you never will forget?
Well, going back to the customer service and the customer experience,
Mm-hmm.
it every customer's time is very valuable,
Mm.
right? That's what we always hear. I don't have time. I'm running out of time. And so when you miss very important signatures on documents, and having to call that client back or customer and telling them, you know what, we need you to come back and re-sign these documents, or we failed to collect a signature. Even though it seems like a very minor mistake, it's huge, because you're infringing in their time.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they're already thinking, I'm done and over with this long process that I've already had to deal with. And just failing them in that aspect is probably, again, it seems minor, but it can be huge. You do affect their time, and you affect, their jobs. Sometimes they have to leave. There's just so much that you infringe when you miss a signature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well said. Thank you for that. And so, what is one trend in the industry you think is overrated?
Well, we talk a lot about technology
Mm-hmm.
versus the actual title employee, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the title expert. Yes, technology is very, very important, and that is the world we live in. However, you cannot take something that is not the actual individual. The expert has the experience, has the knowledge. They've been involved in every aspect of the transaction, and I think we fail to give the title professional the credit that they deserve by doing the title cleanup, by doing all the research, being there countless hours, and making sure that we are protecting the customer, moving from now backwards, right? Because most people understand insurance is okay, from the moment that you purchase something, you're protected forward. Well, we do it backwards, and we have to make sure that we protect you from previous, liens, previous taxes owed. And there's a lot of time that is taken in that, and no technology can take care of that. You need the human aspect.
And thank you for that, Liz. And if you don't mind, could you give us a quick synopsis? Is what do you mean by working backwards and protecting someone for things that happened in the past?
Okay, so title insurance, most people don't understand. It's not like homeowners insurance, right? Homeowners insurance, you purchase your home and you're protected from the moment you purchase towards the future. If anything happens in your home, that's what homeowners insurance is. Well, title insurance is, you're here today at the closing table, and we protect you from anything that happened from today to yesterday. So
Mm-hmm.
what that means is, if there was anybody, if there's any liens, there's any taxes being owed, there's anything that has gone wrong with the property, if it's still standing, we will make sure that everything is cleared before that title is actually handed over to you and before you become responsible for that property.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a lot of curating, cleaning up of titles, dealing with attorneys, dealing with the underwriters to make sure that when you sign for that home, it is 100% clear of any judgments, any liens, anything that could, bring you any type of financial distress in the future.
See, that's why we asked you to come to the show to give us that explanation in regard to these things, because sometimes people may take it for granted, right? Because either they don't have the time to learn, or they're not interested in learning, or they think they know it all. And here you are, as a president of a title company, to come on and talk about title insurance and the benefit of it and how it protects the homeowner. So fantastic information. Thank you for sharing that. So, I was doing some research, Liz, and I see why. In 2021, Prosperous Title and Escrow won the Top Agent Award issued by the First American Title Insurance. Would you share with the audience, how did you all be able to to win that award?
Well, in my opinion, I think that award was awarded to Prosperous Title because what happened prior to 2021, right? Of course, COVID in 2020.
Mm,
And most businesses either went remote, right?
hmm
Or closed their doors temporarily. And Prosperous remained. We never closed our doors. We never worked from home. If you needed something done with your closing transaction, all you had to do was give us a call and we'd set up an appointment. Now it was very different, right? We all were masked up, we all had gloves, we helped you, we did what we called curbside closing.
Right,
We would close you on the curbside, we'd Lysol everything.
right.
We do what we'd have to do, but we were there for the customer no matter what. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays if we had to accommodate you. And so our clientele, our business never stopped. We were there for you. We were there to assist you. We didn't let the pandemic, stop us. And so we were one of probably the only title companies that were open in that sense. Others were open remotely, but we were open face to face. And I think that because it was like nothing was happening, we just continued. We didn't let anything stop us. That is what allowed us to keep business as usual and allowed us to receive that award.
Well, that's a very impressive explanation to how you received the award, and well deserved. I shouldn't say well deserved, well earned, right? Because that was a difficult time for the nation, COVID, and Signing Service America. We were forced to work remotely, and many of our clients didn't realize that we had switched from in the office to working remotely. And we put together, we assembled a plan, and we disseminated computers, and got the staff up and running. And but one person, or I think it was two people at the time, were constantly scheduling orders on their laptops, and while we were able to prepare for the shift. So in like 48 hours, we actually were able to change from working in the office to then working remotely. And and it was a very good learning experience for me, in terms is, one, how can you pivot, right? When you're unexpected to do that. And then two, what type of staff, what's the character of the staff, right? How can the staff pivot with you as well? And we all pivoted, and we managed it. And where many businesses, closed because of unfortunately COVID, we were open, you were open, and here we are post COVID. Now we're on a podcast together, right? So that's fantastic. So Liz, the next segment I'd like to talk about is that, what is the one market trend that you're seeing within the industry that you would like to talk about?
Well, I think the uncertainty of the unknown, that
Mm,
we as much education as we can provide on both sides, and by that I mean with the buyer and the seller.
mm-hmm,
Everyone is still hopeful of what's to come or what's not to come. You don't know what you don't know, and so things come to a halt. And what I mean by that is, we see contracts come in on the daily, several contracts, and everybody gets excited, and then all of a sudden those contracts are no longer, right? They're
Mhm.
canceled, they're withdrawn for whatever reason. And it's more common today than it has ever been. And again, that's because of the uncertainty of the unknown. You cannot, if you don't know what you don't know, then how are you supposed to react, right? So lots of uncertainty, but all it takes is just, again, as a title professional, to be there to educate the customer, and just let them know, you whatever decision you make, we're here to support it, we're here to walk you through it, and everything's going to be okay.
So thank you for that. So are there any type of tips or suggestions that you are sharing with your staff to, be able to overcome or push through when you say, you don't know what you don't know in regard to the future?
Absolutely. It's important to stay on top of what's
Mm-hmm.
going on around you, your surroundings, the economic status, the industry status,
Mm-hmm.
and education is key. The knowledge is power, so you don't stop learning, and you learn for the customer. The questions they have, you never answer with an "I don't know." You may say, "You know what? I'm not sure, but we will figure this out together."
Mm-hmm.
And letting the staff know that our main purpose is service, is customer service, being there for the customer, whether it be through education, through answering questions, through just being there to walk through the situation with them. But it is important that education is at top of mind for both the company and the employee, so that we in turn can educate the customer.
And so do you have any type of special courses or seminars to educate the client?
We do. We have courses that we can offer through the title company,
Mm-hmm.
or through our underwriter, and those classes are available for the customer.
Mm-hmm.
And they, whether we offer them or whether they're offered through our underwriter, they just have to show the interest.
Mm-hmm.
We also offer our own courses as escrow officers, and so if our customers say, you know what, we need education on XYZ,
Mm-hmm.
we get ready, we get prepared, we show up at their place that they want us to, educate and instruct, and we will.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. And part of you knowing what you don't know and admitting that, is networking a part of this chemistry to learn what you don't know and apply what you have learned?
Absolutely. It is very important during this time. Of course, you keep busy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as, in this industry, there's never downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're working on deals, whether you're taking contracts, whether you're opening orders, whether you're out there networking,
Mm-hmm.
we wear many, many hats. But building those relationships, not only with our customers, but with our peers, is extremely important, because we only know and we feel, what we're seeing in our environment. But when you speak to our customers, when you speak to our realtors, they also see what they see, and they're going through what they're going through. So together we can come up with ideas, or we can build that business relationship by saying, well, I can help you in this area and you can help me in this area. And together we come and build better relationships, and keep our business growing for
And
our customers.
and that chemistry, I'm sure, has been able to develop repetitive relationships with your client base. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then, is there anything that is any additional icing to the cake, so to speak, that you and that Prosperous does to, show your appreciation to the repetitive client?
Absolutely. Every year we've committed to having an open house
Mm-hmm.
at Prosperous every September. And we've been doing this probably for the past 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a way for us to thank our existing relationships, and to welcome
Mm-hmm.
any new relationships, just to come see where we're at, what we're about, meet our staff, and no obligation. Uh, we're an option. You want to come by and check us out, we're there for you. And
Mm-hmm.
those of you that are already part of our networking, of our business, that's our way of really just showing you that appreciation, and thanking you for collaborating with us.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful, Liz. It's always nice to be, appreciated for, what you do or how you help someone. And what better way to do that than through an open house? So, Liz, if there is one tip that you could offer to our audience, what would that be in regard to the work that we do? And our audience pretty much consists of those within the mortgage industry.
Put your customer first. That is
Mm,
key. put your customer first. We talked about listening, we talked about service, but really be there for the customer. They are going through a very this is very stressful. This transaction is very emotional, right? There's a lot of intricacies that take place, and it's important that you put them first. You listen, you put yourself in their shoes, and let them know that you're there for them and they're not alone,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be there with them every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. So Liz, as we get to the point where we bring our show to a close, I'm sure some people would love to know how can they contact you with all the great information that you shared. Please let us know how can someone contact you?
Of course, if you need to speak with me or any of my employees at Prosperous Title, you can reach us at 915-288-2466, or you can go online to prosperoustitle.com, and we'd be very happy to help you with answering any questions that you might have.
Well, my goodness, Liz, after all the information you shared, I can see why somebody would want to call you and want to work with you, because you are great listeners. You and your team are great listeners, and you're relentless at being able to meet the needs of your clients. And that's really what it takes in this day and age, is to be committed to someone else's happiness and joy. And I thank you for sharing that information on the show. I thank you for coming on board. And that wraps us up for another episode of Closing Market Weekly. And so, folks, thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Yes. And so, folks, you can always follow, like, and share our content on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And Liz, we'll be seeing you around in the next one. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Closing Market Weekly. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone in the industry. For more insights from the front lines of real estate closings, we'll see you next week.